For the older men and women in power, it's over. The young generation isn't buying any of what you're trying to sell to them. No matter how many talks and seminars you arrange in schools and colleges trying to promoting patriotism, it isn't working. Patriotism comes naturally when there is equal opportunity, sound infrastructure, and efficient mechanisms in place. When you provide your people with basic necessities and ensure people get their rights, you won't have to go to schools and colleges to tell students that they are supposed to love their country. They already will nonetheless. Young minds, the Gen Z, the Alphas, they know exactly what is happening. And despite your consistent efforts of trying to sell your views of patriotism to them, they are seeing right through it. Thanks to the internet, thanks to whatever little education we have left, despite your best efforts of keeping the masses as illiterate as possible, you have failed. You have failed to tell people what to think. They are thinking for themselves. They might be a little too scared to speak their minds because they prefer breathing, but they see right through the facade of self-righteousness and virtue that you've meticulously put together. You may be able to stay in power by using power, but the people could not care less about you. You can't even step outside your house without security. If that doesn't speak enough about your popularity amongst people, you need to reevaluate things. The younger lot has had enough, and because they have learned that they cannot challenge the powers, they're leaving the country. I would be too idealistic to think that they would lead a movement against corruption. They'd rather take a silent, quiet exit and not look back because their friends, who spoke up, were silenced. But for the boomers, it's over. There is no future for them. There seems to be a massive disconnect between the young population and the current regime. There is no mutual ground. The Gen Z wants faster internet. The ones in power want a stronger firewall. The Gen Z wants cheaper smartphones. The boomers want smartphones to be taxed. The Gen Z wants eased restrictions on freelancing. The boomers want to increase regulations on freelancing. There seems to be no common ground amongst them. That is exactly why the boomers have lost. You can orchestrate all the wars you want. Gen Z will make memes out of it. Censor all the mainstream media. Gen Z will jump to platforms like Rumble, YouTube, and Discord to voice their opinions. Boomers, you cannot censor thoughts now. Gone are the days when you could fool the people. No one's being fooled anymore. Yes, we don't have libraries. Yes, we cannot afford to rent an apartment. Yes, we cannot afford to buy a car anymore. All thanks to your efforts. The economy handed down to us is worse than your morals. But despite all that, we continue to trudge along, finding solace in books, social media, coffee shops, as much as I despise them, and double patty beef burgers. We continue to navigate across the murky waters. We don't watch when you talk on TV because most of the times whatever you say is hysterical. We have stand-up comedy for that. Why watch mainstream media? Times are changing, and the sooner you realize, the better. But you don't care either. Your children are abroad. You're making millions every single day. You enjoy vast, unchecked power. You eat the finest of foods and drink only the cleanest of water. Why would you care? You will when you realize no one's listening to you. You know why? Gen Z has their headphones on and their Spotify paid for. If the situation becomes unbearable, half of them will have enough resources to leave. The other half will make you listen to their music, and not in a good way. Boomers, we've had enough. We aren't buying your narrative anymore. It's worn out.